of the container.
I don't ever intend to take a parachute anywhere. If I have to throw it, I'm like, nope.
Well, I mean,
just gonna wrap it in a
if you
car.
like, have to take it out, like if you need to take the thing out of the container to like wash the harness or like have it worked on or something.
I will
and put it back in.
Take a toothbrush to my harness.
It's pretty freaking easy.
You say that because you do it. The rest of us are just like, I don't know what just happened.
Simply basically want every part of the parachute, the canopy, the lines, and the bridle all go in here. None of them are twisted round and round because that ties it into a knot and creates a big mess. They all get put in back and forth and back and forth, so it just pulls out the way. So all that's already done in here. All we have to do is put the parachute in the deployment bag in the container on harness and stow the bridle in there. So I usually like to, the parachute container, this little bitch likes to come out, so stuff that in there. So parachute container goes in here like so. You got the handle up here that sticks out. This is how it lives in there. So put it there, flip it out of the way, and then I'm going to stow the bridle in here. So that helps kind of, if you get it out, sort of flatten it out as much as you can. Get it out of a big stupid ball. Sometimes you have to untwist it a little bit. That's pretty close. Okay. Then, I've got this coming down from the carabiner already. I leave it a little short so that when you hang the harness up, it pulls the bridle out to however long it needs to be, but not anymore, and then you can Velcro it to the main.
Okay.
But I deliberately leave it a little short. And then with the container, I just snake this back and forth, over and over, and then often the bridle is kind of creased where it was installed before. And especially with this sort of stuff where the material is really, really thick and heavy and doesn't bend very easily, that often makes your life a lot easier. This was folded a little wide for this container, but that's not a big deal. And this doesn't have to be like picture perfect, crystal clean neat. Necessarily. It's nice extra bonus points if you can get it perfectly neat, but it's not 100% critical. Okay. So that's pretty close. This stuff kind of has a memory, so it gets, especially this thicker stuff, is a little bit harder to work with and make it pretty. But that's about what you want it to look like. Flip the parachute back into place on top. Make sure the handle's out there. And then you go get your bungees. Should put it over here, I believe. One. I don't have another one. I can make one. Yeah, I'm just gonna make one. Yeah,
they like fall on the floor or something?
Yeah, it doesn't super matter. They're really, really easy to make.
So as you deploy and you throw it out and you pull the bridle back, the parachute actually comes out of this pouch, the container.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't work very well if it doesn't.
I know, but like it's wrapped in such a way that it like deploys itself, I guess, whatever, as you throw it out, or
Yeah,
is only when you pull it back.
Well, it's designed to deploy in stages. So there's essentially 3 stages to a parachute deployment, where you've got the bridle, which is this, which just it's really, really long because you usually have the wreckage of the glider around you, and you know, it's usually like you want this to clear the wingspan before it starts to open in earnest. So that's why you have all of this stuff. Then first stage, when the bridle comes tight, this pops loose, and that opens up this inside pouch right there with all the lines in it.
Oh.
So then the lines come out.
Okay.
Only when the lines are fully tight, they hold this main pouch on the deployment bag closed. Those come tight, they pull through the rubber band much the same way, and then the canopy comes open.
Aha. Cool.
So it's designed to only open each successive thing only when the previous stage has been completed.
Cool.
So yeah, and it requires tension to do it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pull back on the bridle. There's already tension on the glider by the momentum of the thing flying through the air and the resistance of the glider.
Okay. So the pulling back is just in case it doesn't deploy the first time, you already have it on the way back.
That, and it kind of preloads it. So you're already adding some tension to, you're adding some resistance to this and some tension to help it pop open more easily. Like if it operates as it should, I mean, there's instances of people like pulling the parachute out and literally dropping it into the air, and it boom and opens up. So like if it's working as it's designed, you shouldn't need to do all that. But the whole point of this thing is that this is your one last chance to not be turned into paste in a tree. And you want to give it the best possible shot of working that you can. So bungees are super, super, super easy. It's literally just an overhand knot tied in a bungee cord. Really, really helps to have some kind of line or string. This is a old paraglider line, which helps because it's a little bit rigid, and you can poke it through the bungee a little more easily. But any kind of small string will do. And so you put the bungee from there's these 2 grommets, or these 2 grommets on each of the back of the parachute container and the front flap. You bring the bungee from the back of the grommet on the container and route the string through the grommet on the flap. Pull it through. Make sure that the parachute handle is on the outside of the bungees when you're doing this. And then you pop the parachute pin through the bungee, and that holds the container closed. Rinse and repeat likewise for the other one. Now you can take the strings out at this point. I like to leave them in until the thing is all the way secured, just in case I have to do it again.
With the Velcro and all that stuff?
Yeah. Okay. And then put the Velcro on. Since the bungees are already through the grommets, I like to start at the top, since that part of the container, that connection's already established. I can just sort of work outward and down from there.
Okay.
Make sure it's all flat. And sometimes this takes a little bit of persuading. With this, you're just trying to get flush and get the Velcro strips fully attached to each other flat. So you don't want it to be like
bubbly.
Yeah, and like kind of like you don't want to see shit like that where it's kind of puckered up. So yeah, or it's like you have that little loop in it. You want to just make sure you're getting it. You're like pulling it tight and making it. You also don't want to see it like halfway engaged, like so. So make sure it's all the way on and flat. I don't like that. And the one side is usually easy, the other side...
Because half of it is already stuffed.
Yeah, sometimes takes a little more persuasion. But you do that in very much the same manner. Okay. Now that that's all the way in, then you do the knee tests, where you grab it by the sides, try to bust it out, make sure you can't.
I did not know that was a test. Okay.
And that looks like it's gonna hold pretty good.
All right.
Okay. So we got the parachute in the container, pins are in, the Velcro secure so I can pull the strings out. Then the very last thing is to hang the harness up, or at the very least pull the main tight.
Oh, and
right
do
off.
the Velcro
And
thingy.
pop the Velcros on.
Ow! Why are you biting me?
Ah, son of a whore. Okay. That's a lot less fucked up now.
Okay.
Whatever. I can deal with that later. Ooh, no I can't. Gotta deal with it now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's my truck tail line. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can just take those out if you need it.
Alright. That is enough out of the way. Motherfucking Velcro thing.
So it comes out here. It goes up there.
I don't know where to put the other two, so I'm just gonna grab some extras.
So should those Velcros be structural to the point where it's just kind of hanging there, or you actually want them to pop,
You
which
want
we have to
these
deploy?
pop off, or they will anyway. It kind of
okay.
doesn't super matter. But like, these are just to keep the parachute bridle from like getting
in the way and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, they just keep it attached to the. They just keep it flush to the main. Keep it from snagging on stuff.
Okay.
Keep it neat, but they don't actually do anything. The main. The structural parts of the system are where this attaches to the carabiner, and then the harness itself, because that's why all this stitching's so heavy, is the shock load for parachute deployment.
Ah, good to know.
As far as I'm aware, anyway, like, there's no other reason to make it so heavy. I'm pretty sure I wrapped this in the thing.
That's okay. I could take it out.
But anyhow, then you have this fancy little clip here that some very attractive person put on there.
Yay!
Alright, so that's that. Parachute's in. It is ready to fly.
Woohoo! Thank you, sir.